Hello team and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different because today is going to be the first podcast on my channel. So recently one of my student who switched her domain to DevOps and after a career break and also got a 100% hike on her previous package. So how all those things were done, how did she prepare and what are the things that she can suggest you? All those things we are going to discuss in today's session. So yeah, make sure to watch and yeah. Timestamps will be in the description, which you can check out. So yeah, with that being said, let's get started. Hey guys, so today we have Paran with us, who is also a student of mine who has recently switched to DevOps domain. Currently, she is working as a DevOps lead in a product-based company. So from her, we are going to get to know how did she prepare and how did she get a job after career break and all the other things. So yeah, towards Paran. So Paran, you can briefly introduce us about yourself.
Yeah, hi Aditya. Yeah, thank you. So, so I have total 12 years of experience in IT.
Okay.
So I started my career as a middleware admin, and then it got transitioned into Unix administration. But from last 5 to 6 years, I am into release management, infrastructure management. Yeah.
Okay. So Paran, can we suppose like that you have been working very closely with DevOps, but not purely on the DevOps, right?
Yeah. So yes, so before, I would say before I started taking trainings for the DevOps. So basically, I have like 12 years of experience, as I mentioned. So after 11 years service, I thought to take a break. It was a voluntary break.
Okay.
So
So
I want,
you had have a career break also.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so after 11 years, so I took a break. I didn't decided how much, a time break I would be taking, but yeah, it's a now 8 month break.
Okay.
So yeah, to pursue my personal interest and hobbies. So I took that. And meanwhile, I also prepared for my job,
Okay.
next job.
As you said, that career break was voluntary and it was of around 8 months, right?
Mm.
So after 8 months, like when you decided, okay, now this is the time for me to get back into IT industry, how long did it take for you to like prepare well and like become very confident before going for DevOps interviews? How long was that duration? Side by side, if you could explain us like what was your strategy about preparing and how exactly you became very confident before going for interviews?
Mm. Yeah, so it took me around 4 months
Okay.
to get the job. Yeah, so initial 4 months I was just checking here and there about the courses and on YouTube and I was a bit struggling to get a good trainer or course. So I joined few courses and there I just got the basic idea and not what actually I was looking for as per my experience. So yeah, so then I also kind of wasted like 15 to 20,000 rupees in those courses.
Okay.
So then, yeah, so I was hopping from one course to another. Then, yeah, then I came across your DevOps course. So yeah, from that, from the course, see, knowledge is scattered everywhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it is, yeah. So the kind of course material you have, people uh, are providing, but there is no structure that how a person who don't know anything about how to start, his or her DevOps journey. So in that way, I really liked your course, and I pursued it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, apart from courses, like when you were preparing by like self-learning and everything, so
Mhm.
how was it? Like, were you doing implementations, making notes, or like how was it?
So one thing I like stick to with the is to whatever I was learning. The same day I was implementing it, and next day I was asking the queries. So I used to study 4 hours in a day. So my first half goes to my personal interest, and the second half I used to study. And so basically, what worked for me is consistency and sitting at, if you're not, so for example, for me, I thought I set the target that I will study 4 hours, but some days if I am not able to, I at least sit for an hour and do the revision, at least if I'm not able to grasp something new topic. So for me, what worked is that whatever you know uh, has been taught in the course, same day I implement. So practical implementation helped me a lot, and that gave me a lot of confidence.
Okay. Did you
Yeah,
make
because if your base is strong, and then you can yeah,
exactly, yeah.
climb up the ladder. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you make notes also, like handwritten notes, or everything you just kept on like on laptop?
Yeah, definitely. I also have a habit of writing, so I used to write each and everything. I mean, as per my own way, so that helps. I mean, notes are must. I mean, if anybody thinks that maybe they can solve everything, and they can remember, but no, notes are must. They help you.
Okay. One more question that I would love to ask, like let's say someone is having career gap of 1 year or more than 1 year, and
Mhm.
they are like started to prepare for interviews. So in your opinion, should they do like certifications, or like they should just focus on gaining skills and learning the hands-on skills?
Yeah, so in my job hunting process, so what I came across is that if you have 6 months break, so that is very much welcoming. Nobody asks much questions in the interviews. And I've also observed during my interviews that people or industries now, they are, I would say, welcoming I mean, they are okay if you have a break with a genuine reason.
Okay.
So for me, as you know, I have a 8 months of gap. So they definitely asked me the justification that why the
We'll
break.
come to that in detail. We'll come to that in detail about the career break, like because this is, I think, one of the most asked question, and everyone wants to know like
Hmm.
how exactly we can justify career break. And because lots of people are there who are preparing for something else, and later they want to move to DevOps, so there is a career gap between them, between that, and they also would love to know like how exactly we can justify. So coming to the most awaited question that everyone wants to know, I guess, like how to justify the career gap. Like let's say if I have 1 year career gap, how I can justify. Also explain like how did you justify your own career break, like what's the best way that we can justify it.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it depends person to person situation. So for my case, it was a pure. I mean, I just wanted to take a break, so for some time, and pursue my interests. So that's what I mentioned in the interviews very honestly. That so people, I mean, the interviewers even said me that's good, but they definitely asked that what you pursued. I mean, so I had something to say. So I mean, in this break, I published my book. So that is something I mentioned. So they were like, okay, you were doing something, and also I was preparing, for DevOps. So for that, so as I mentioned that I have taken, I mean, before joining your course, I have taken few more courses, which not very well worked for me, but yes, they do provide certifications. So that I, kept aside because because they ask to justify, you have to provide everything that in last 6 months or 8 months or 1 year gap. So you have to provide all the certificates if you have, if you have achieved any certificates or training certificate or even participation. If you've applied for any job, okay, and so for example, we apply in Naukri and LinkedIn, so you get back the response, okay, that your team will contact and thanks for applying. Even such mails, one should, they have to save it because that are required during the joining,
Okay.
because that justify your, yes, you are doing all these things. So for me, so when I join, so I have been asked with all these documentation to justify my gap.
Okay. So we can say that like if we have just 1 year gap, so we should basically focus on whatever things we have done. We should have it documented. If we have taken trainings, we should have certifications. If we have done any technical certification, that should also be there. Basically, to make sure that if you are going for interviews, we
Hmm.
should be able to show that we were not sitting idle. Instead, we were preparing or we were working on something, right? That is the
Yeah.
best way to justify the career gap of at least
Whatever
like
you
1 year.
say, you should have something tangible.
Okay, next question that I'm sure like everyone wants to know. How did you like started job hunting? How did you, where did you apply, and how many
Mhm.
jobs you used to apply, and how did you prepare your resume?
Yeah, so for resume, I downloaded your sample resumes which you have provided during your course, so that I modified according to my profile. And job hunting, so I only used Naukri.com, LinkedIn, and reference. So I didn't sign up for many job portals. And one thing is I never mentioned in the uh, job portals that I'm on break. So you just mention that immediately available in your resume. So that you can tell once you get a call. So at least you get a call and you can then, when you talk and you justify, then it worked. So for me, it worked. So it was never like that I am on a break, so I was not getting calls. Definitely, I was not getting many calls, but I was getting calls because I never mentioned. And later I mentioned in
Okay.
during
So,
our call.
like, if someone is having career gap, then they should not directly mention in the portals, but
Yeah, it's
when
my
con
personal opinion.
okay,
I would not recommend everyone, but yes, what worked for me is definitely you have to mention it, but instead of writing in a resume or in job portal, I prefer to tell them via call. So at least I get a call and able to justify myself.
okay, but I believe like one good option is would be there is like directly you should simply mention that immediate joining. Later
Yeah,
on in conversation we can mention that yes we have a career gap of this many years. Yes, because if interviewer sees first thing that okay this guy is having career break or
definitely.
like long career gap, then they might not approach for the job interview.
So they,
But
they preconceived or
exactly,
fine
later
things.
on
So
they
yeah,
can agree okay, okay yes
yes.
we can call you for an interview.
And referrals, and especially for women, I would say that every company have their own program to rehire, return to work,
Okay,
reinvest. There are certain programs which every company has, especially for uh, women. So if you go to a particular company website, so you will definitely find such drives. They Yeah,
okay.
so for me, referral work. So I saw an opportunity for my current company, and then I asked my colleague to refer, and it worked. Also because I was immediately available, and yeah.
So this immediately like immediate joining it is a like very big factor because every company wants someone to
Yeah,
join
one of the very
immediately.
big factor. Yes, yes. If you know you're prepared, so this will help you,
Okay.
because these days, as we see that every company wants candidate to join as soon as
Immediately.
possible.
Yeah. So Paran, like tell me something like what was the some key thing that you kept in mind before going to interview? Like there should be something that you have pre-planned. Okay, this is for sure is going to happen, so I need to be prepared for that.
Okay, so what worked for me is that your first 5 minutes or 3 minutes of the interviews, I mean, set the pace for your interview. So your introduction part should be well prepared. What are you going to speak? So there should be no hitches, or you should just either you ratified it or whatever. So that about your work experience, about yourself, you have to say as confidently as you can.
Exactly. Like without hesitation, we should be saying so that
Yes.
at least a positive impact should be
Yes.
there in front of
Yeah, at least
interviewer.
because it gives the confidence to you as well. But okay, you started good. Yeah, so that is one thing. Yeah.
So Paran, give us some overview like what kind of questions they are going to ask in interviews. Some kind of like general question that is like for sure we can say ki, okay this is going to be asked in interviews on whenever someone goes for DevOps interviews.
Okay, so what I observed during my interviews is basically definitely they wanted to know that if you know particular tool. For let's say they ask you about Ansible. Okay, what is Ansible and everything? That is basic definition you will give, but they will end up asking you the troubleshooting questions. They'll revolve around that only. That what kind of issues you have faced, how did you resolve them? So I think for all the tools you are, learning, you should know the scenarios, errors and its solution. So
Okay,
that is must, because they end up asking these questions, scenario-based questions, and
okay
what issues you face in your project.
is there any way that we could prepare for like scenario based questions? Is there a way?
I mean, only way is to implement. is to implement, because while implementing, definitely you are going to get errors. And okay, it will not be a smooth work. So when you set up everything in your local, there you will face issues in setting up the infra, and then you set up the tools, and then so you will definitely get errors, and you note it down what you did to resolve them. So that will give you confidence.
Okay. One more question, which is which is something like lots of people asked who are actually transitioning to DevOps domain. So whenever we like transition to DevOps domain from some different domain, how like hard is going to be for us to work there in a new company when we transition to DevOps?
Yeah, so like in my case, definitely I have some background of infrastructure, about Git, Jenkins. I have like fair idea, but definitely I didn't knew the whole CI/CD thing. So I don't think it's very difficult once you switch your domain and start working in the new company, because definitely what you learn during your trainings and course definitely much more than what you apply in the project, because project is very specific. They have their already defined tools which we have to work on. So we are not working on everything. So for example, what I learned all in your course and I have set up, so in project, I'm using the customized, which is required for the project. So I don't think it's difficult.
But still, I think initial for 1 week or 2 week, it will be a little bit difficult, right?
Y- Yeah, I mean to that is, I mean, normal thing. Yeah, but you get used to, and it is not difficult at all. Yeah.
Okay, so Paran, tell us like what did you like most about our DevOps Shack course?
Yeah, so the most I liked is the structure of the course. So, so let's say if a person doesn't know anything about the DevOps, so you have a very, starting from basic to medium to advanced. They have covered all the topics that way. It's very, so a person can see the roadmap. Okay, so I have to start from here. That is the best thing I like about your course. You're structured, and also during while we were taking course from you, so your availability was consistent. So that's matter for a learner, because so there
Yeah.
was no gap in between.
So Paran, I have seen one thing that once people they are not able to get job, they get demotivated. And uh, did any kind of this scenario came into your side also? Like, if so, then how would you suggest like people should cope up with that, and how can they stay motivated?
Okay, I mean, um, unfortunately, I didn't went through the demotivation because it was a thoughtful decision to take a break. But yes, for people, if they feel demotivated, I mean, I'm not any expert, but I think like what I planned is that first half I will do whatever I like. So that will, give me,
In a day, you are saying first
motivation.
half in the day.
Yeah, so I'll start my day. So that was my way. That, okay, I'll do at least what I, like, and then second half I dedicate to my studies and to my job hunts. So something you should pursue apart from work, your in your personal life, what you like. So that will give you a happiness and motivation to actually study. Yeah. I mean, and demotivation is sometimes also good. Fear is also good, little,
Yeah.
but yes, it's it is constant, then it's bad.
Acha, one advice I would suggest from you to anyone who is like going to study. So like for anyone who is going to purchase any kind of courses, but my courses or any other courses, what would you suggest them to do with the course?
So the mantra which will work in any cases, it's like whatever you are studying, try to implement on the same day, or okay, or next day if it gets stretched. And then you ask your queries to your trainer. Because if you pile up for a week and okay, a weekend will come, I will try. No, at least after your course, at least take out 1 hour to implement that, because it remains fresh in your mind and you have made a fresh notes. Simply implement it, it will stay in your mind.
Sure.
for long. So yeah.
So, Paran, that were all the questions, and it was so amazing to have a talk with you. And I'm sure these real insights would be really helpful for everyone who is either preparing for DevOps or like learning DevOps. So yeah, thank you to you for joining with us today and giving your own insights to everyone who is watching. Anything else
Yeah,
you want to say to our audience?
thank you, Aditya, for this wonderful course. And through this podcast, our motive is just to, so people get some insight from people's journey, anyone's. So yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for joining and have a nice day.